guys, welcome back to my channel. It's CozyCrochetMonster, and today I have this really cute project planned for you. So today we're going to be making a little octopus. So this is a simple, easy pattern for you guys to follow. It uses a lot of basic skills. We'll be increasing, we'll be decreasing. We'll learn how to sew in, put some eyes in, stuff something. So we'll make this cute little toy. And to get started, we're going to need some yarn, of course. So I'm going to use this like navy blue or dark denim, that's what it's called, from Big Twist for my octopus. You can also use variegated yarn like I did before to make it really colorful, but I just decided for this one I'm going to make a solid color. You will also need a 5mm crochet hook. With this pattern also, if you up your yarn and your hook size, or also shrink your hook size and your yarn so it's thinner, you can make, using the same pattern, you can make your octopuses larger or smaller. So I'm using 5mm, but you can use whatever you'd like. You're going to need some scissors and a yarn needle. I'm using a paper clip as a stitch marker, or if you have stitch markers, that will also work. And then lastly, you're going to need some stuffing. So this is just polyester filling. You can buy this at like any craft store. And then some eyes. So I just have all of my eyes in here with all of their little backs and everything. I even have some googly eyes. I just keep them in this container just so they're all in here in one place. But you will need eyes. You can also have these little sew-on eyes. So you could, if you can tell, there's a little hole right there, and you can sew them in, or you could sew on buttons, or just use thread to make eyes, whatever you would like. Okay, to get started, I'm going to take my yarn and my hook, and we're going to be making a magic circle. So this octopus is made in the round up top here, and we increase, and then we start decreasing, and then I'll teach you how to make the tentacles as well. But for now, we're starting with our magic circle. So if you guys don't remember, you're going to hold the yarn with your middle finger and your thumb, and you're going to wrap it around your index and middle finger, pull it up like that, and then you're going to go under the first loop, grab the second one, and twist it so you make this little loop on your hook. It's kind of a bad example. You don't have to stretch it out, I'm just doing that to show you, and then just chain one to secure it. Okay. Now, working into our magic circle, we're going to work 6 single crochet. Okay, once you have your 6 single crochet, you're just going to kind of cinch it up. I have a really long tail, but that's okay. And then we're going to, start working into the first stitch we made. So into this first stitch, we're going to single crochet twice. So if you remember from my previous video, this is the increase stitch. So you're just single crocheting once into the stitch and then going back into it. So yeah, I shouldn't have chose such a dark yarn, but it's okay. So I single crocheted once in that stitch, and then I'm going to like open it up and find that stitch again and go back into it. So you're going to go around your 6 stitches doing that. So at the end of this row, single crocheting twice in every stitch, you should have 12 stitches. Okay, so I have 12 stitches, so that is, well, row 1 was the magic circle, so that is row 2. Row 3 starts the same way. We're going to increase, so single crochet twice into the first stitch, and then into the next stitch, we're just going to single crochet once. Then we're going to repeat that, single crochet twice into the next stitch, and then single crochet once. You're going to keep doing this until you get to 18 stitches. Okay, I forgot to mention, but you can also use a stitch marker. So I'm just going to use my paper clip because now we're getting into, our number's going to keep growing for a little bit longer. So it's going to be a little difficult to count. And it's just easier visually to see. So into this next stitch, I'm going to single crochet twice. And then I'm going to put that paper clip in that first single crochet that I made. Just so that's the beginning of my row. So I know to stop when I get there. So I just single crocheted twice into that first stitch. Then in the next 2 stitches, I'm just going to single crochet once. So it should be an increase, and then 2 plain single crochets in the next 2 stitches. And then an increase, and then 2 single crochets. Just like that, all the way around until you get to your stitch marker. Okay, I'm just finishing up that row. Okay, so at the end of that row, you should have 24 stitches. So I'm going to take out this stitch marker. So this is our last row of increase, so we're going to single crochet twice into the first stitch. Put our stitch marker back in, into that first single crochet of that row. Oops. Okay. And then we're going to single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. So you might see a pattern growing where every row you have the same amount of increases, which is 6. And that's also our base number. And each row there's 1 more regular stitch in between them. Because we're increasing, well, 6 stitches each time, but in between that increase in the next one, it's 1 more stitch. It might be a little bit confusing, but as you keep working with increasing and stuff, you might kind of see the pattern and understand it. The math behind it, I really enjoy. So I'm just going around increasing, so 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, and then single crocheting once into the next 3 stitches. Okay, so there we have it. So we should have 1, 2, so I start by counting the magic circle as a row. So that one little circle is 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5. So what you might see, I'm gonna pull this up, use my needle. So it's kind of dark to see, but you see the main circle, and then it kind of branches out into the second row, and you can kind of see where it starts like that. So as long as you count from this side and this side, so 2 different sides from that point where it stops, the rows begin, you should have the same. If it's even, it means you finished the row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 on each side. If I went from here, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4. Because of how the rows connect, it'd be a little weird, but it's okay. So as long as you have like 2 opposite directions, they both are the same amount of rows, then you've made it to the end. Or you can check your stitch count, or if you made back to your marker. So these are all little tips and tricks on working in the round. So we are done our increasing bit. So we should have 5 rows. So from row 6 to 10, we're just going to single crochet once in every stitch. So you can move your stitch marker each time. I'm going to do that real quick before it gets stuck. So I'm just going to single crochet once into the next stitch and then replace my stitch marker on that stitch. Oops. It's a little difficult with holding the hook. And then I'm just going to go all the way around, just single crocheting once in every stitch. At this end of the row, you should still have 30 stitches. Okay, so I'm just nearing the end of my 6th row, and I'm going to just keep continuing by, moving my stitch marker when I get to the new row and just continuing to crochet all the way around until I've reached my 10th row. So that includes, you're going to single crochet all the way around for row 10. So I'm starting my 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So you should have from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should have 5 rows of solid single crochet. And I will meet you back once I finish that. Okay, so I finished all 5 rows of just straight single crocheting. So that was my 10th row that I just finished. And you should kind of see this bowl or cup shape happening. So this is going to be the base of the head. So now that we've built up enough of the head part, we're going to start decreasing to make like the rest of the body or neck, I guess. So starting with row 11, I'm just going to take this little stitch marker out real quick. I'll put it back in. So if you know how to decrease, I have a video if you don't, but we're going to single crochet 2 together, which is the same thing as a decrease stitch. So we're going to single crochet almost normal. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, and instead of yarning over and pulling through both of them, we're going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through. So now we're going to have 3 loops on our hook. And then we're just going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And I'm just going to replace my stitch marker in that one. Oops. So that decreases the stitch. So we did 1 decrease, or single crochet 2 together, and then we're going to single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. So we're basically replicating the pattern that we did here, but backwards, if that makes sense, because we got to go from largest to smallest now instead of smallest to largest. And then we're going to repeat. So single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. Single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet once into the next 3 stitches. So you're just going to do that all the way around until you get back to your stitch marker, or you've counted 30 stitches. So how I count when I'm single crocheting 2 together is counting each of them. So 1, 2, oops, grab my tail, 3, 4, 5. So you should still have the same amount of stitches you had your previous row when you're counting, but that might be too confusing, but that's okay. That's what the stitch marker's for. So just finished my last 3 stitches. So now it's kind of caving in. You may not be able to really tell, but it definitely is. We just cut the stitch count to 24 now. And so for row 12, we're just going to single crochet once in every stitch. So we don't want to decrease too drastically or it'll make it a ball shape. We want to kind of decrease it but elongate it still, so we kind of get that neck portion. So we're going to do a decrease row, just a regular row of single crochet, a decrease row, and then we'll add the tentacles. So just go all the way around in every stitch. You should have 24 by the end of this row. Okay, so I just finished my row. So that was row 12. You should have 24 stitches. So to start row 13, we're going to single crochet 2 together once more. And then we're going to insert our stitch marker back in there. And then we're going to single crochet once into the next 2 stitches. And then just repeat all the way around. By the end of row 13, you should have 18 stitches. Okay, so now it's kind of, you can definitely tell it's collapsing. I just finished my row. It's definitely looking like a ball, which is what we want. So there's a little head. Okay, so we're going to do one last row of just straight single crochet. And this is row 14. At the end of this row, you should have 18 stitches. Oops. Okay, so we just finished row 14. So I'm going to insert my eyes right now just because it's going to get harder and harder as our head gets smaller. So I'm going to take out my little icebreaker container. Sorry, that was loud. Take out some eyes. There we go. Just like that. So if you guys don't know how these work, you basically put this into your fabric like that, and then on the inside you put this little backing on, and it secures it. I'm not going to put it on because it's really difficult. I don't think I've ever been able to take them off. So I'm just going to find a spot where I want my eyes to be. And so this is kind of just like guessing game, and you gotta figure out where you'd like them, if they're at the right height. Maybe you want them lower, higher, close together, farther apart. It's all your preference. Okay, I think I like them there. I think that looks really cute. So then this is why it's a little difficult. You kind of have to fold it in on itself so you can see the back, and then I'm just going to put that on there. You don't want to do it too tight because then it can kind of like sink the stitches a little bit. I'm just going to find the other one and put the back on. There we go. Just like that. Row 15 is the base row that we're going to add our tentacles on. So right now you should have 18 stitches, but octopuses have 8 tentacles, and for the tentacles you want 2 stitches per tentacle, so that means we need 16. So we're going to do a quick row where we're going to decrease and then single crochet 8 times, or until you get to the other side. Doesn't really have to be exact, but you just want to kind of space it out. Then you're going to single crochet 2 together again, and then just get back to your beginning place. You can leave your stitch marker in just so you know where that is, but I'm just taking mine out because it's not really useful right this second. Okay, one more stitch. You can also tell where your single crochet 2 together. You can kind of tell what that stitch looks like, so you don't need to worry too much. Okay, so now with our head done, we're going to start on the tentacles. So, starting on the tentacles, I'm just going to single crochet once into the next stitch, and then chain 21. Okay, once you have 21, you're going to single crochet 3 times into the second chain from the hook. And then just in every single stitch, you're just going to single crochet 3 times. So what this does is, you can see by now, just by the second stitch, that it's too many stitches than the base chain, so it's going to curl. So this is what we do to get these little curlies, like that. Isn't that really cool? Ooh, and the colors even line up. It's so awesome. Okay. So just keep going all the way down the chain. So this is definitely the most time-consuming part because you have to make 8 of them. You can cut it down to 6 if you like. It just wouldn't, be a real octopus, but that's okay. But just go all the way down with 3 single crochets in the same stitch. It doesn't have to be exact because it'll still curl and you can still kind of form it to make it curl. But just have fun. Listen to some music or another one of my YouTube videos maybe. Or sometimes I'll just watch YouTube while I'm making things just to keep me busy while I'm doing something that's kind of simple. So as you can see, I can kind of just twist it up like that as it's twisting as I crochet. but you're just going to do that all the way up and I'll meet you there. Okay, so I'm making it just back to the, I guess, the top of the octopus, or the bottom of my chain. And so you want to kind of untwist it and find every single chain and single crochet 3 times into it. So even this very last one right there. It's a little difficult to see, but just do your best, it's okay, because octopuses can have a little character to them. And then you want to find your next stitch and just simply crochet, single crochet once into it. That kind of secures the tentacle, like that. Then we're going to single crochet once into the next stitch and do it all over again. So chain 21, single crochet 3 times into each stitch. And then when you get back down to the bottom, secure with a single crochet and repeat. So I'll see you there. Okay guys, so I'm just finishing up my tentacle. So this is what my little octopus is looking like. Oh, he's so cute. Okay. So there he is. Now we just have to work on the bottom because it's still open with all the stuffing. We don't want it to fall out. So once you finish all 8 of your tentacles, 2, 4, 6, 8. So this part's a little weird and a little tricky. But just kind of, you know, go back if you have to. But what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet 2 together, but we're going to be working into the back of these tentacles as well. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to kind of just find a place where I can put my hook. Probably the last stitch where you put it, you last crocheted into works. And you're just going to pull up a thread. So that's what I have. And I'm going to act like I'm going to single crochet, but I'm not going to finish it. And then I'm going to find the single crochet, so not the one that I joined in, but the next one. And I'm going to finish off my single crochet there and yarn over. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So find a little piece, yarn over. Then I'm going to find the next stitch right there, yarn over, pull through. So you want to do this all the way around. So you should have, since you're single crocheting 2 together, and we're doing the 8 tentacles and then 8 stitches, so it should be 16, but since it's 2 together, it's going to be 8. If you have a little bit more, if you have a little bit less, that's totally fine because it's the bottom of the octopus. You know, nobody really cares. The stitching down there anyway. So just kind of keep going. Try your best. It is a little fiddly, but it's not too bad. We're almost done. We have this and one more row and we're done with our little octopus. Okay, so I'm just rounding the corner. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to make 8. So I'm just going to come back into that first stitch. So I'll probably still have 7 stitches. That's okay. Yep, that's fine. Okay. So it should be fairly closed now, but we're just going to single crochet 2 together as much as you can, so like 2, 3 more stitches until you can't really do that anymore, and then we're going to cut off and sew in our octopus. So I'm gonna add a little bit more stuffing just because it's a little empty on the bottom. I probably should have done this a little bit earlier, but it's okay. I'm just going to fill that up. Okay, he seems well stuffed. Oops. Now I'm just going to finish this off. So it can be a little difficult when it's this small. Their stuffing's kind of bulging out, but you just kind of have to keep working with it. It's a little finicky, but it's not terrible. but just keep working your single crochet 2 together stitches all the way around. Okay, that looks like as much as I'm going to be able to do. So I'm going to cut about 6 inches like that. And then I'm just going to simply fasten off. So yarn over and pull through. I'm going to thread up my needle and we're going to finish off our little octopus. So I like to take it from the side where we fastened off and kind of go to the opposite side just to kind of pull it down and secure it. Then I'm just going to kind of sew the other opposite sides together. That. Okay, and then I'm just going to make a little knot, so insert with a little piece of thread, pull through, don't pull all the way through, you want to leave a little loop, and then you're just going to back your needle back into it. That came undone, so I'm just going to pull it through, and that makes a little tidy knot. Thread this up once more, and we're just going to go in from the bottom and push our needle all the way through the top. It doesn't matter where it comes out. I want to go into a full space. Like that. Okay, sorry. And then you're just going to pull that through, kind of wiggle it around like that. I'm going to make sure it's not too tight there underneath. And then we're just going to go back down through the same hole and just weave it into the body so that we don't have to cut this off or anywhere. It's tied, it's sewn up together, and it'll just be hidden throughout the body. So this can take a couple of tries. It can be a little finicky as well, but it's not terrible. And be careful when you're like pulling the needle out to be gentle, because you don't want to yank out the yarn because it's getting stuck on the stuffing throughout it, and so you don't want to like undo that. So then you can also kind of pull that through. I'm just going to do that once more. Like that. And there you have a little octopus. So there they are together. So cute. So they can both sit like that. They look really cute. And they're the perfect little stuffed toy for a little one in your life. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.